Jenny. What's new in the silver market? Hey, Lisa, it's wild. Crypto's even crazier. I know, and politics is stirring the pot.
All right, we are back with tea with Jenny and Lisa. So you can get all your tea right here with the two of us. We're going to talk trash. Is that why they call it tea? Get tea.
You know, tea is more like the scoop. It's the tea. It's what's going on. It's, it's not trash talking.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily trash talking, but I mean, a healthy dose of trash talking goes a long way, I think.
Gotcha. All right. So do you want to start off with JFK?
Yeah.
I've watched the movie up to what I thought was the end, but then I just realized when I was looking so I saw a preview talking about this next episode is releasing this Thursday, and they're saying in the show, I guess on number 7, which I haven't seen yet, so I'm behind one now. They had what's called the exit strategy, which I did not realize that was what it was going to be called, number 7. Interesting that it's the 7th one. But they had people have been talking about it all over social media that when John, let's just call him John. That's what he likes to be called. Let's just call him that. Yeah. When John and Caroline go to the airport and they meet a pilot there at the little plane, people are saying that pilot is actually the real John, current day as the pilot, which I think is hilarious.
I had someone bring that to my attention too. I don't know. I actually hadn't watched it.
Okay.
I was just telling you the music choice I thought was really interesting.
Is it only for that episode? Or is it for every episode?
It's definitely not for every episode. It was really like a trailer that came up, but it totally struck me. So I think, I think the question is why are they bringing it to public attention? And it's clearly evoking a huge, everybody wants to dress like her, the guys want to dress like him. I love it. I'm here for it. I just wonder where it connects to the pieces of the puzzle, and the whole story. So
do you watch Professor Clements at all?
Who? No.
His videos. Okay. He's got a picture of Mark Twain behind him, and in passing he's talked about recreation or reincarnation, things like that. And he looks just like Mark Twain.
Oh my God.
Somebody that was going to be Mark Twain in the future. And maybe it's one of his descendants or something. I don't know. But he's a professor who lost his job for speaking out against the jabs, all the COVID bullshit, everything. And he lost his job for that. And he's continued to fight. He has built a whole case around the steal in 2020, and he advocates for Tina Peters, but his voice is so calming and his videos are really excellent, and it will make you go sleep a little bit. I mean, it's interesting, but he recently had a dream and he believes it's a prophetic dream that JFK Jr., John, is going to be our next president. And so that they're starting to, it makes sense that they would start to bring the story back up. You have to educate a whole nother generation about who the Kennedys are and who John is, and bringing back all the things that happened to his father, all of that. And so it would take some time. And of course, the best way to do it is video. Everybody, that's how they learn now and pay attention. So I could really see that. Now, I could also see us just never having another president. So I'm okay with that too.
What's the guy's name?
Professor Clements, David Clements. And it says the Professor's Record, I think is the name of his YouTube channel.
Okay. I'll look at that.
He has great videos and he's brilliant and just fighting the fight and doing a great job.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm just so disenfranchised with the movie right now. But at this point, I'm open to so many potential possibilities. I don't know if we're supposed to know how this plays out exactly. I think we have our mission has more to do with like our relationship with God, our relationship with our like family and tribe and stuff like that. But it's just so fascinating to me, like just this movie right now. I'm like, there's some kind of a fusion between real life
Mhm.
and
And the movie.
production, right? And it's like, are they actors? Are they see the way that I see it is like they're part of like groups of people that were born into the theater. Like, and I don't mean like like Hollywood necessarily, the Masonic theater, and they're just chosen to be these vessels of huge energy vessels to power the story throughout their entire lives. So in that sense, they're selected, pre-selected.
Well, central casting, right? I mean, we watched that kind of happen, and Trump continues to say it. That's another thing you would really like the professor, because he is spiritual. He talks about this being a true war of good and evil, spiritual warfare, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you would really like him. Let's see. That one was. Nope, that's not it. There was where was I? Well, just playing. When you talk about the movie, this Trump says, and I think if you listen carefully, he says, I'm going to give them a AQ test next week. I don't think he says I'm going to give them IQ tests next week.
Who is that? Who said that? Trump said that. Okay. Okay.
Going to give him IQ tests next week under the
Maybe he does.
Imagine that, Jim. She's the border czar. She never called Border Patrol. Explain that to me. He's the worst. She was as bad as he was. Going to give him IQ tests next week under the Trump administration.
Going to give them IQ tests next week. And he's talking about Kamala and Biden. But that feels very movie, and we're going into the Easter time, or we are in the time of Easter, Lent, all that kind of stuff. And one of the things, some people were talking about them moving the army or the military, which is hilarious that I wore camo today and my black ball cap, and you wore a camo ball cap.
That's weird.
And we did not plan ahead. But there's talking about, so the ICE, moved into the airports and all that stuff. And then now people are talking about Joe Rambo, or Rambo and Friends. I can't remember. I think his name's Joe Rambo. He was talking about how, 20 years ago, or not 20, has it been? No. 6 years ago in 2020, when there were, and you may remember this, remember when the ships were all on all the coastlines?
Oh yeah, with the big crosses, the three big crosses on them.
Well, so there were the Comfort and the Mercy that went to like Florida, or to go to Florida, California, and New York. But then, like in 2020, I was traveling with a friend, and we were in like San Diego or somewhere, maybe it was San Francisco, I don't know, somewhere in California. With a beach, and looked out, and there were just these giant ships and just like little blips of ships. And that was back in 2020. And so this guy was talking about it, and he's like, I think that all of that happened 6 years ago. And that's when the trials were, and that's when all of this. And now we're coming into, of course, Trump talks about April 1st all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like April Fool's Day, April 1st. And if we go into that, I think the first is on March 1st. April 1st is a Wednesday. And then Easter traditional Easter that most Americans think of will be on Easter Sunday, the 5th of April. But Eastern Orthodox or Orthodox Easter is actually on the 12th of Easter. So if we get past April 1st, April Fool's Day, whatever happens, then you could have 10 days from the 2nd to the 12th. And that would be like a full week with the Good Friday weekend and then ending on Easter. And Fool's Day is actually is Passover as well. So it's just like all of that is kind of lining up to be the big reveal. And maybe it's not the big reveal because I keep thinking it's going to be the reveal and it's not. What do you think?
I don't know. At this point, I'm so wait and see. I'm just so wait and see because I think that's just the most, like, just for our well-being, mental health. But what I do think is fascinating is that the Army just raised the maximum age of enlistment from 34 to 42, and they'll waive one prior marijuana conviction. So if you got charged with possession or something very small pertaining to marijuana, they'll waive it. But here's the thing, like, there's some fear mongering going on as well, because the truth of the matter is those waivers have always existed. You've always been able to get into the Army up until 42. You just need some kind of a waiver. You've always been able to get into the Army with a prior marijuana charge with a waiver. They are just now formally removing it and announcing it. A lot of that was possible before it was not announced. It was something that happened like low key.
Internally or low key, like you said, on a per basis, not just, hey, here's the big.
They're always trying to crunch numbers. This is why you go to a recruiter and they'll take anybody, like, and specifically the Army though, because you want to know what's funny is I looked into it and the Marines did not have to do anything. They had to make zero changes. They exceeded recruitment and retention numbers in recent years. Like, they're actually breaking records in the Marines. So they're not hurting. They're not wanting for anyone. But the Army, they're saying, come on back. And Hegseth literally was begging people. Department Sec War was like, please come back. We're sorry we let you go because we forced you practically at gunpoint, to take this experimental bioweapon. Please come back. We're so sorry. We won't do it again. We need bodies.
Wow.
Which you guys know, I love the military. Like, it holds a very special place in my heart. But for me, my great love is like the military of our grandfathers. And even back before that, the heart of it, the heart of the Republic, or the spirit of the Republic was still very much alive, but it's become so corrupt in the military. So you can't, they also killed my hero. Like, Army leadership they had General Patton assassinated. So like they are pretty much the enemy within. They're the enemy within.
That's the help me. The Washington generals. Somebody told me that Millie did a April 1st speech. His April 1st speech, where he that's his farewell speech, I guess, and he defends democracy.
Millie.
He's the ultimate, like, Washington general.
Yeah, he's really no bueno.
Yeah,
this really does. It's a weird time. It's a weird time. I told my kids, because 2 out of 3 of my kids have shown interest in the military, and I'm like, listen, 10 years, 15 years, if something radically changes and we can talk about it, Meanwhile, they'll be adults. There'd be nothing I could do about it one way or another, but I tell them not now.
We'd like them to ask.
Right.
What do you think Mom should Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I'm
yeah,
dreaming. I'm dreaming. You know what I mean? But
well, I can tell you who you are. But to stay in that that military kind of thought, I was listening to Glenn Beck on my walk today because I want to know what everybody has to say. And well, I was listening to him. Where is it? Was this one instead? And I thought this was interesting. Delta Airlines recently just took away the special privilege of our government servants.
saw that. That was great.
And the way that he says this, he says, "Thank you, Delta. Thank you. Thank you." And it makes me wonder, is he talking about Delta Force and not Delta, the airline?
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting.
Let me play it real quick.
Or corruption, AI, elections. They're not separate stories. They aren't. They're 6 pieces of the same machine. And if you don't understand how they connect, I'm not sure how we understand what's actually happening in our country. And some of these stories are going to be pushed into next hour and the rest of the show because they're deeper meaning behind them. But let me just give you the surface understanding of them. Story number 1, power, quiet, invisible power. Let me tell you about what Delta Airlines just did. They just adjusted its VIP treatment for members of Congress.
I took my $5,000 hearing aid out and put.
Oh man, nobody wants to watch that. Okay.
Thank you, Delta. Thank you. Again, did I say thank you, Delta?
Yep.
Thank you.
3 thank you, Deltas. Thank you.
So
thank you.
what does this mean? Well, for
4.
years, our elected officials just glide past all of the things that you have to do at the airport. They skip the line. They avoid the friction. They avoid you, the little people, because they're special. And now Delta, thank you, Delta, says, you know what? We're pausing that. We're not eliminating it. We're not debating it. We're just adjusting it for right now. And they call it a perk. Delta, I think you're using the wrong word. It is a perk. You look at it as a perk, but it's insulation. Because the moment our leaders feel what you feel, where they stand, where you have to stand, their decisions change.
So there he said Delta at least 6 times. I was hoping for some kind of calm there, but it did make me wonder because there is so much word salad, like Trump saying, I'm going to give them an IQ test next week. Yeah. Now, Beck saying, thank you, Delta. And we know that's a Delta Force in the military. And is that really them telling them, just like when they brought ICE in? So another thing that's interesting here in Fort Smith, and I've talked about this a couple times, but our little local airport got like put in a magazine in the 80s for the nicest bathroom. It looks like your grandmother's house. It's like everything's pink mauve, upholstered chairs and like whatever, like lighting. And it's from about the 80s. They haven't changed a thing. And it has 3 terminals. It's like one metal building. But the National Guard is now National Guard Air Force is operating out of that airport. And they are also saying they're bringing in like 900 families to turn this into an international airport that would be run by the military.
Huh.
So how many other airports are going to be run by the military? And is ICE the first step of moving TSA out, Homeland Security's out, move TSA or move ICE in? It's just interesting to me.
Me too. And I think we've talked about this before, but like, I'm so, it's such an unpopular take. And I think I understand why people rally against ICE so hard. But like, I remember when we prayed for a citizen-based or like citizen-heavy force that was in some capacity deputized and able to do things like this. And the reason why I say citizen or civilian is because ICE employs some of the most people with no former military or law enforcement experience. And you've
Mm.
got people, it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't with people, because some people will be like, oh yeah, you're just taking people off, just hiring anybody. And it's like, you would complain if they had former Leo or military, you would call them internalized. You would say, no, what about the people? Well, I'm going to tell you how many people, regular people with no military or Leo backgrounds, but went to join ICE because, first of all, there was great financial incentive. Second of all,
$50,000 signing bonuses.
bonus, you train and you get to be a part of a solution, and I remember back in like 2019 where I was like, I was racking my mind trying to think, okay, like, what is the best, if I could assemble a team of people to do this, I would want regular people.
National Guard, where you care about your state,
care about your community. You know who these people are, and they're not randos that have former combat experience and they're battle hardened, which we have that in ICE, and I think that belongs in a freaking agency like that. It's just like, I don't know. You guys also know my background, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I do have, like, I can self-reflect and I can see a situation for what it is. I think ICE has the potential to be helpful. I do. Does it have the potential to be really, really bad? Totally. Sure. But the fact that it's a civilian, like, it employs more civilians than any other, agency like it, even remotely like it. I actually remember praying for such a thing. And now here we have it, and people are boo-hooing left and right. And it's like, freaking blow your nose and put, like, pull up your pants. Big.
That's changing though with this, with them being installed in the airports.
People like them. You're not seeing
they are thanking them as they're clearing, because they're doing their job. They're clearing the airports, and then they're passing out water to people. People are coming up and saying, thank you. Thanks for keeping our family safe. So there is a change of mind in, they really are here to serve and protect, you know what I mean? Instead of following policy and people's rights. So.
Oh, and also I just wanted to dispel, because like, there's just so much fear mongering from all sides of the equation. But people were posting about, ICE having headquarters in Tel Aviv. And so they're posting sort of, screenshots of the official ICE.gov website where it lists, where there are some offices, field offices. And so they basically just take a snippet of a list of over 150 international offices. ICE has offices. We have outposts in every country in the world, pretty much, with the exception of like a couple. So you see is this kind of sensationalism where they want people to believe that ICE is Mossad run, IDF heavy, and IDF loyal. And that's not the case. We've cross-trained with the IDF for decades and decades. That's actually quite normal. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying it's nothing new. And I just
done that with every country.
That's what I'm saying. So you got people cherry picking in an effort to sensationalize something. And look, nobody, like, Israel is a huge problem. The IDF, this is a massive problem. But when it's used to kind of spread all this emotional sensationalism and polarity around ICE, that's where I like have a problem. Because I'm like, the IDF, like, Mossad wants our country destabilized by having the third world imported and having incompatible cultures clash with our own, because their whole thing is about the destabilization of the West. And mass immigration has historically always been a very successful tactic at overthrowing governments and empires. It's just the way that it is.
Yeah, using incentives to encourage illegal immigration for then our country to be infiltrated has been kind of, used over and over again, for sure.
Getting paid follow ICE. I love it. I love watching people that like videos of people get, they have to deal with the consequences of following around agents all day. Like, could you imagine following around anybody, let alone agents, harassing them? Like,
Well, and you have to, there was one of those kids like Nick, whatever, Shirley, it's another kid, and he has been interviewing people at these protests, and he found out there's this guy who like went to some like, I don't know if it was Harvey Weinstein or some like very like the Met kind of event or whatever, little Asian guy, and him and his boyfriend went, and then he is at every protest, and he's got a clipboard, and then he runs around. And so this kid, kind of like a Nick Shirley, and I apologize that I can't remember what his name is right now, but he has gone around and found this same guy at all these protests, and he's being paid to be a protest organizer.
oh
So,
my God, for
and
sure.
I'm sure he's not the only one.
Oh my God. It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's sensationalism, it's multifaceted warfare. It's what a time we live in.
I know. So I also wonder, so we talked about like, in 2020, that's when they had the boats lined up. That's when things were like, we should have thought, oh, we're at war right now. And instead everybody's like COVID. And it's very interesting. Somebody pointed out that Trump never said, like, he wouldn't say the word COVID necessarily. Not that he never said it, but
Right.
when he was talking about fighting the enemy, it was the invisible enemy, the invisible enemy, the invisible enemy, and being in the fight. And then there is this thing that just happened where there's all these meteors falling, I guess Ohio, Houston, all kinds of places. One of them, oh, it's not letting me, hold on. This is a lady's roof in Houston. I mean, do we think these are meteors? Is it really warfare, but they're telling you it's meteors so you don't get freaked out?
Right.
Because she's like, NASA confirms apparently a meteor weighed about a ton before it ultimately broke apart. And then there's videos of fireballs going through the sky Saturday afternoon, I guess, and then broke apart and she had an up close encounter, blah, blah, blah. It was so loud. I think there's another picture of it, and it looks like a huge piece of metal. Oh, maybe it was in the video. Anyway, I'll put this video in the Telegram if anybody wants to watch it. But could we be experiencing, or is that some of the spiritual warfare going on, intergalactic warfare going on? What do you think?
Well, it's all spiritual warfare. Everything in the Materium is rooted in the realm of spirit, as you know. NASA just announced like 2 days ago that they're taking nuclear into space. So I'm like, oh, what an interesting time. Like, what interesting timing. So like, I think that this is when we're going to start hearing more about the Space Force, because we have that's it. We now have to elevate, no pun intended, the conversation to atmospheric stuff. And I've always said that Border Patrol, border security, ICE, all of these things, it also had to do with atmospheric borders. It's like, and how equally important, if not like more fundamentally important than borders.
2D border.
Exactly. We're talking like interplanetary borders. And so like NASA's talking about going to Mars and like all this shit. We know like it's not what it seems when it comes to their narrative of space travel. So it's going to be a really interesting summer. It's going to be a really, really interesting summer when it comes to the space
exposure.
Just the conversation is going to be freaking
conversational in general.
Wild, because I think that they're going to disclose aliens. I think they're going to disclose their narrative. And I don't think we should believe it, even if it comes from our camp. I don't think that we should believe it, because the thing about it is that the truth of that stuff has to be reached like via personal understanding, because that's the actual nature of this war that the aliens have been fighting. We're fighting it, like that goes. So like they're not going to just tell us and people are going to be like, oh, okay, like maybe some people, like
Yeah, some people. There are some followers that will always be followers, but there are more and more critical thinkers, I think, that are going to try to put things together, like this missing General McCaslin.
Oh my God, yes. Any word?
And he worked at Diego Garcia, which is where, if you watch Ashton Forbes, and my friend I Am and I did several videos on this about the plasma balls and the missing Malaysian plane. Allegedly, the missing Malaysian plane was kept or portaled to Diego Garcia.
Yeah.
And now they've changed the name of Diego Garcia recently.
I believe it. 100,000%. I believe it. 100,000%. Because so you folks can like look this up, but like, oh my God.
Please do.
Siemens, Siemens, SIEMENS.
Yes.
They developed all these RFID chips for American contractors, like private American like contracting companies. Think along the lines of Lockheed Martin, right? Like, it might not be Lockheed
or something. Maybe NVIDIA or.
Well, it's verifiable. You guys just look up Siemens, the missing RFID chips. And they sold these, because you can trace all the paper. They sold this massive amount of RFID chips, which essentially the whole purpose is to track them. And then they just disappeared. And I think that what they did was they shuffled a massive amount of commodity off planet, kind of, and they need to track their stuff. So they put the chips in them.
Could that be the missing children and the moon?
I think so. I think it's also kind of a test, like when they have to just test out and see what this tech can do, and if it's going to work, if it's worth it to invest more in the future, and that kind of thing. The Siemens CEO that died in the helicopter crash, absolutely. Yeah, he knows.
So SoCap and I did a video about that, and we pulled all the comms that we could find from everything from the helicopter path to there's like a pointing hand or something. And it also tied into the Intrepid, which is the Timex, the company that makes the Timex, which is what JFK Jr. wore.
Wow. Oh my God.
So it's a great video. Go watch it on my channel.
Well, and I'll tell you, so like I've done these like readings. Tarot is something I understand. I have much more of an understanding of tarot and symbols than I do of like what's really like the moves that are taking place in this movie. Okay. That's why, you know what I mean? So like, but what I have seen, because I've been asked over the years so many times, is JFK Jr. alive? Is John alive? Is John alive? Is John alive? And I've interpreted the cards for years. I get emotional. I don't know why. I get emotional. The cards have always shown that he is alive in a reality that exists so close. Like, and I was shown like two hearts that are very, very close to each other, and they're linked. But it's like there's thunder just now. But just like sort of running parallel to our timeline, he's alive. So I think there's some kind of plasma or something that allows them to jump in and out of timelines to where they're technically not on this timeline, but they're close, and they can phase in and they can phase out. And
the portals, though, that's what they were. So that's like when you watch the videos, Justin or Ashton, just ask Ashton. He talks about these little orbs going around, and they create a portal, and the Malaysian plane goes through it, and poof, it's gone. Yeah. And we know that stuff is capable. Our military is capable of that because of the Philadelphia experiment. There is a history of it. So if they were able to portal themselves to safety for a time so that the United States could go through whatever we needed to go through,
I
That,
believe it.
No.
I know that sounds fucking crazy. And
but
people
it's more of
say,
that border talk that you were talking about with, we're going to start learning what the borders are, not these walls that are north and south of us. The
the
borders
frequency barriers.
yes.
They're frequency barriers. And oh my gosh, all the talk about the dome, the golden dome or the iron dome,
Yes.
all that stuff. That's a huge theme in 2026, 2027, 2028. Like that's a big one. But there's something about the portals and the plasma, like, yeah, like they have a way of removing the physical, but the heart signature is still there. So that's why in the cards, John has always looked equal parts here, equal parts not. So I've had a hard time trying to understand that over the years, but more and more it's making a lot of sense.
Well, that's interesting. And it goes back, I keep seeing these. In fact, there was another Jennifer Aniston commercial about her not being, they didn't remember who she was. And
my
there's
God,
this whole theme for me about the remembering, and that we'll remember who we are. And yeah, we talked about that with Bix a little bit, about the unfolding of dimensions and all of that. And so then we'll start realizing we have more dimensions to us as well. And start remembering who we are, kind of exciting.
It's so exciting. And that's why I really it's almost trending to be a doomer and a black pillar and all this stuff and I understand it. Don't think I don't get it. I do. People are fed up. I think that was also part of the strategy. Is to completely exhaust people of their spiritual faculties, their emotional health, their mental health, to sort of get them on this track 10, 20 years ago, and in their mind have them think that the end or the conclusion it's in the next 2 to 3 years, is in the next 5 years. And then so what happens is they're gassed out before it's over. So now I know people that are very, very powerful light workers, but they're completely burnt out, like to the point of they don't want to hear it. They're done.
That's a great point. And because we're not done until we're gone from this world.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's not gonna, this isn't gonna this is for the rest of our lives.
Right.
And then we've got our kids and their kids and their kids. I'm like, this doesn't just stop. This myopic thinking where it's like, in my lifetime we're going to experience this utopia, and it's like you have to understand that the body, we're like flowers. We bloom, we grow, we bloom, we have this, and then we die. The soul and the heart are immortal, and there's a good chance we come back in after the body expires, and we're like, we're back again. I don't know that that's what you and I'll do. But this is going to be like lifetimes. This is going to be generations and generations and generations. And I think it would serve people to look at it that way, and not so much this like sort of comic book that they get to look
at it as a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah. Plan for the marathon.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, that's wise. I believe that's wise for sure. I wanted to ask your opinion about, let's see, I did that one. And just a military moment to give respect to Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Today is the 100th anniversary of Guard standing watch at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. So just
that's beautiful.
Much respect for that. I wanted to share that.
Absolutely. We get a lot of shit, like people acting like how can you glorify, the military, knowing what it does. And it's like the military industrial complex is one thing. Then there's like the heart and soul of the vision, and that's the people. And those, for me, it's easy to separate those two things, but for some people, it's just not that easy to do that.
It's the same way to think about a country's leadership, excuse me while I use that dirty word, and we the people. You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The people that so many good this precious little man sitting across from me, with his, Korea hat on, and that's what my dad
Oh, yes.
today when we're at the doctor's office. And, you know, just thinking about what a brave decision to go and, you know, and fight for your country and just to serve for your country. You know,
Mhm.
some of them didn't fight, some of them fought. There's many jobs in the
Yeah.
military.
Yeah.
But much respect to all of them. So the individuals definitely deserve that.
Oh, 1,000,000%. It's a beautiful science to it when you learn, you know, that those bonds that are born and tried through hardship and being away from loved ones, and you only have each other. Um, that's like so, so real, so real.
So real. Hey, I found a really great, and I can't remember what this goes back to. I don't know if you can pull a card or if we need to actually check it out, but this is a WebBot hit. Walmart's AI, they are actually there. Here's a video so you guys can see. Well, I share this tab instead. Their price system, digital prices. Do you remember when Cliff talked about that the inflation would be so terrible that the price can change, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Demand spikes, the price jumps, inventory drops, price adjusts, algorithms. And so these are these digital pricing. And Cliff talked about that you would pick something off the shelf, and before you could go check out, the price would go up because we would enter into the hyperinflation.
That's nuts.
I know.
I mean, I freaking hope not, but who freaking needs Walmart?
Here we are.
You know what I'm saying? I can't stand Walmart. I had a dream. So, I had a dream years ago that there was some kind of AI-esque figure, like it was pretending to be an angel, but it was clearly not to me.
Okay.
And it was in a Walmart parking lot.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I knew it was a mimic, like a mimicry.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But there was just something about it, you know, like
it was enough to scare the community or whatever.
You know, it was more like it wasn't even fear. It was, you know, when it's trying to it's trying to enchant everybody. You know, kind of like think of like the old days when like the fallen angels were able to impress, you know, the women and the men that lived on Earth at the time with all their cool shit that they could do.
Magic. Yeah.
Magic, you know, look at this. And so there, you know, the people were enthralled. But I'm walking to my car and I'm like, I ain't talking to you, buddy. Like you're fake.
I don't have any change. Please leave me alone.
I don't have any change. Don't touch me, you filthy hippie.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah, but no, I have to say, I really think that like a part of this whole thing that people don't talk about too often really are the effects of the vaccine.
Yeah.
Plenty of people talk about it, but even like the implications of our future, like the health and well-being and mental state and literal electromagnetic state of being of our populace. I worry about the actual energetic infrastructure of the heart and the heart field of human beings in the Western world. I think it makes them very susceptible to external stimuli. All kinds of strange things affect the heart, you know, the heart infections, the myocarditis, the phone. Yeah. You know, so I just feel like people really gotta like heart health. You know what I mean? Like,
well, maybe that's what the dome is, to like give us a new Atlantis to be able to like protect the frequency. I know where we live, there's a lot of granite. I was watching a, 38 unknown facts about Arkansas or something. I don't know. It was late. And one of the things they talked about was that there's silver when lightning hits the granite, it creates silver or something in this area.
Stop.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And there's all this granite, and it affects the magnetic kind of like, and so if there were to be like an EMP or something like that, supposedly, allegedly, this is not me saying this is some video, and I didn't check it out to see if it's true or not, but I'm hoping it's true because I live here. But that we would have some kind of grounding or connection because of the grounding. And that's kind of why the lightning went to because it was needed to be grounded.
Yes. Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Well, the plasmic, like the dynamics of those plasmic fields that are constantly occurring, like if we had even a little bit more of an understanding of how those interactions affect us, I think that would change our paradigm. Is understanding plasma. Remember that we did the talk? It was my birthday. We were in Canada.
Jay Weidner.
Yeah, every time he said plasma, we took a drink.
Yep.
And we were like, we can't do it.
I think someone with great hair might have encouraged us to do that.
Oh yeah, for sure. That definitely wasn't that would not come up. That was not our idea.
I think that was somebody that was with really great hair that might have
with the best hair, our beloved friend Glix.
Yes, Glix. It was his naughty side.
Yeah,
that's too funny.
That was great.
Yeah, but Jay Weidner did give a speech on plasma, and I got all juiced up about it because it was great, and I was sitting there, and it was like hand in hand going with all the stuff that I was hearing from Ashton, and then that IM had taught me about the missing Malaysian plane, and he introduced me to Ashton and his work and all that, and then I'm learning about these plasma things, and it was all about plasma, and we are plasma.
Yeah. And the technology inside the vaccine knocks the natural harmonics of our system off kilter, like off, so that they have built out some kind of invisible network that counters the naturally occurring plasmic fields.
You mean like this?
Yeah, like that shit, you know? So they've, and I really do think that like, this is a frequency war. I think this is a war of plasma versus plasma, real plasma versus synthetic, like the real network versus a synthetic network. And you as an individual human being, the only thing that you have control over is like your beating heart, right? Like, and sometimes we don't even have that, but this is why like you can't, I still fight with people about the vaccine, you know?
That is insane to me that Walgreens, after all this studies have come out, I mean, lawsuits, they've proven that it causes myocarditis. Like that's just common knowledge. You can say it even on the YouTubes anymore. And you drive by Walgreens and it says, get your vaccine. And I'm just like, these people, or it's just so blatant that they want you to know they hate you.
Yes, it's hatred.
This was a genocide. They want you dead.
They want you dead. Because they don't need that many people alive. They need the people that are left alive to be slaves in some capacity. So I think that's ultimately their plan.
Two perfectly good movies to watch that will be right up your alley with this. So there's The Matrix 1. My husband and I watched it last night. Everything you're saying. They were getting rid of the humans. They would flush them. Yep. Now Oklahoma's trying to pass a thing about liquefying humans. And yes, they're trying to bring it all out. Hey, this was always the plan.
Yeah.
They were getting rid of you. It's a genocide. And
how do we fight it?
And then there was also us being plasma. We are a battery for the AI. It's all about AI and the Matrix, the movie The Matrix too. And we watched it so long ago. I didn't really know what AI was. Like I heard them say it, but I saw the little guy with the vet.
We didn't know we really that wasn't. We're girls and we're girly girls. We were busy.
We were very busy, and I
We
didn't
were
know what they
so
meant.
busy, and now, oh my
But
god!
watching it now, it has a whole different meaning, and it is on target for the AI takeover. We are plasma, we are a battery. The AI actually ends up using humans.
Mhm.
It's the singularity happens, and it's just, I would encourage everyone to watch the first Matrix again with that lens on.
Yeah.
Then there's another, so I don't know if you ever watched Tubi is the channel, TUBI. It has
Yeah.
lots of free movies,
Yeah.
there is a movie with Justin Timberlake on there and this little girl, I can't remember her name. And it's called In Time.
Oh yes.
In Time. And they have, so when you're born, it starts to count up to 25. And when you turn 25, you start counting down. And that's how you pay for everything. Remember how I had like when last year around this time when we were in Canada, and I was like, Jenny, the 4D, and they tricked us to go store our energy and time. And then they call it the dollar, but then they manipulate it.
Yes.
So that is the 4D. They are in the 4D, and if they have to pay for their rent, it's like a month's worth of time. It's drive through a toll gate. It's a week or whatever. It's a wild, wild movie, but I recommend those two movies.
It sounds depressing. It's just a scary thought, right? Children of Men is free on YouTube with ads, and I've been seeing it come up. So I might actually I think I saw it when I was a little kid, right? But I have no clue what it was about. But I'll check out that. But I just wanted to say, Matrix is a documentary, Lisa. Yes, it is. I just asked the cards, not the tarot cards, but my cards that I made.
Yeah.
Like, how do we fight it? Because we were talking about we're fucked, It's like, how do we fight it? We have contracts and documents, and then we have yes, collaboration and teamwork, teacher and guide, student and disciple, media, attention, and network, and you snooze, you lose.
Merit. We win by merit, by using smart contracts and taking responsibility for ourselves.
And working together.
And working together in community. And
but if we snooze, we lose. You
have to take action. That's where the merit kicks in. Yeah. You don't get to be a victim. It's not Trump's fault. Sorry to let you know. Sorry.
Oh, it's absolutely not. He's a mirror. Trump is a mirror. I think that Trump is he's a learning curve on the path of understanding. How you feel about Trump and what you feel when you behold him will tell you everything that you need to know about oneself, and namely your relationship with your father. That it's a huge thing. The only people that I know that genuinely suffer, they have major issues with they have severe issues.
Really, my dad was very healing to me as a father, so that he healed my father.
Yeah. And my dad wasn't the best, right? But I always because I appreciate men. I feel safe with men that have a masculinity about them. They're not hiding, they're not protecting, you know what I mean? They're just, so that kind of toxic masculinity, I've been protected by toxic masculines from actual toxic masculines. Yes. So I have a great deal of appreciation for that energy. But really quick, I just wanted to say, I was not expecting to get cards that were that
positive. Yeah, because you were saying, oh, that sounds terrible and we're afraid. And to me, that's not where my mind is with all of it at all. Because I feel like it helps us. Every time people say, oh, Trump did this or didn't do that. And I'm like, yeah, do it for yourself.
Yeah, he's always said
We
that.
don't want overregulation. We don't want him to make all the rules for us to make us safe so we can be little mushrooms in the dark.
Mhm.
Like, we want to have merit. We want our own choices to be, I want to be free to use whatever products I want to use or eat whatever I want to eat.
Mhm.
Now, if I'm too dumb to read it
Mhm.
and, choose to hurt myself, well, then that's on me. But we've got it to be truly be free. You have to take personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just a victim.
Oh yeah.
And that's how we get out of this, is through merit and taking responsibility.
And learning to do hard things and face hard things, and maybe a huge theme that I've picked up on for years before I even had like the fully developed lobe. I've always foreseen an America that at some point in the not so distant future does undergo a significant overhaul of our infrastructure. So even like I've had dreams and stuff where we're rebuilding things, and it's a little unfortunate because it feels like the conditions around the demolition were not good. Like there might have been some kind of ordinance, there might have been some kind of conflict, and so here we are as a community rebuilding our community, and we're not outsourcing anybody. We're not. I look around and there are people that are, we've lived here for years and this is our home.
Yeah.
And we're rebuilding it. It's us. It's me. It's, I remember looking at my hands. My hands were dirty. I had buckets, but I wasn't sad. It wasn't the gulag or anything like that. There was the sky. It was like there was sun like through the clouds. Everybody. It was a sense of, like when, not that we would know, but if you can try to imagine when war is over.
Mm-hmm.
And
the rebuild begins. I think about when being a kid and at my parents' ranch and stuff and working, like as much as I did not like it, there was also a huge satisfaction after a hard day's work. And your body was tired, but it felt good because you've expended your energy and you've built something or done something or, mowed a field or put up hay, or there's that end thing that gives you a sense of accomplishment and pride again. And that's what America really needs, is to be proud again and just not be mindless consumers,
100%. 100%. I think it's great. I think people should, the same lesson that we teach our kids, if you just give them everything, they don't value it, and even I didn't know that till I, got a job when I was a teenager, and all of a sudden I was like, you mean, I'm like, wait, maybe I shouldn't, because this is like 3 days full of work for this thing, it's a very rudimentary lesson, but for me, I learned, and I just think Americans would care so much more if they were part of the process. I think that goes for food. I think it goes for relationships, pets, kids, everything that you're hands-on with, you're closer to. And I think we suffer from so much disconnection, just completely diluted as to how this got here. How do we grow that?
You're still disempowered because you send these people to Washington. Like Glenn Beck kind of touched on it after that thing talking about Delta. He said, they're not insulated anymore. They have to stand next to us. And, Sean talked about this earlier this week that, if the local school treasurer gets caught stealing or embezzling, boy, everybody knows their name and everybody's calling them out, and that's not right and whatever. But then we see this billions and billions of dollars of fraud, and we just go,
oh my God,
do anything about it.
Oh my God.
And so having that local community and that accountability, I think, is really empowering to Americans as well. I think that change that hopefully we'll see.
And you notice these things only work in a high trust society. When we're completely overrun with people that have no respect for themselves, they have no respect for anything or anyone. This is why this is allowed to happen to that extent. And we have to get rid of those people. And I want to join ICE.
Yes. So my only pushback on that with you is in your cards, you said contracts.
Yeah.
And you said mentor contracts, and it makes me think of Reggie and the smart contracts, because he saw that there was this problem, that we had this trustless society, and they don't keep their words, and all this, and that contracts are broken and there's no accountability and all this. But with his patents, you can have trust. I don't have to trust the person that I'm transacting with, because the smart contract will be benevolent, do the right thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, for me, I got excited when you said contracts and
Documents. Yeah. Because it's something that will be, traceable.
Yeah.
Someone says the candy ass kids can't even do a full day's work. I don't know. Some of these candy ass kids are really about it, and I have a lot of faith in some of these young, especially like the under 21s, because I've got teenagers and their friends. They're so much sharper. These kids are sharp as a whip. Oh my God. And like here's the thing too. There's a huge generational. I get into it with boomers constantly. Because the world has changed. The terrain has completely changed. And now, an 18, 19-year-old youngster has the ability and the wherewithal to generate a lot of income through, ingenuity, through knowing how things work, through, all of these things. They don't have to do, a full day's work like it was back, in I don't know what, when you had to work all day for,
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000.
But look, like a full day's work, like, I'm all about, like, I think that there's like a really happy medium. People should build their communities. I believe that the kids these days, there's something about them. Like Cliff has talked about this. He has always talked about this foresight of a time when there's this Americana and there's this kind of celebration of old world America. And I think that those are like, our kids, and I don't know.
So I will tell you, in the thrifting world, it's already happening. There's a huge rush to gather bicentennial memorabilia and whatever. And we're coming up on the sesquicentennial, or however the hell you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the weirdest thing to me is geese are back in style.
Geese?
Yes.
Like honk honk?
Like 1990s pink kitchen and light blue kitchen geese.
Oh,
Young girls, because I watch a lot of the other thrifter videos and stuff, and some of these young girls.
I see what you're saying.
Talking, and what it is there's a Mom and I were just talking about it earlier. There's this want for comfort, which when times get hard, people look for soft things. Like you'll notice that in car design, during really times where the money's fast and easy, the cars are real boring and slick, and like the Corvette's really ugly. But when the times are hard, there's more soft lines.
Wow.
Your homes are more beautiful. They're tend to the pink things, or nostalgia, things like that. And so the geese and the pink and light blue,
that's so cool,
is coming back, because a lot of the kids that you were talking about, 20 somethings, are getting their own places, and it reminds them of their grandmothers or their parents' home or whatever, and so that's that throwback of comfort and soft things and Americana and all of that.
They're not drinking. They're not drinking. The alcohol industry is tanking. They lost like 80 billion last year.
And bars are having a hard time, because people don't go to a bar because they're not drinking anymore.
They're not drinking.
So they're trying to incentivize by like having game nights.
I kind of it. They're not drinking. They're not going out. They're and I can kind of see where it's like, are they spending more time on social media? Probably. But I still see where we can help sort of corral and channel that young energy and like show them this is what you can do with all of this like extra space that you have now. If you're not, because bar life, nightlife, I know for me, like, I mean, I spent my late teens and 20s having children, but when I wasn't with toddlers or with babies, me and my friends were out. We were out, you know, and it was just such a huge part of our culture that there's going to be a void for the super, super young kids where they're like, that's just not what we want to do. What do we want to do?
They want to work for themselves and build their own. So a lot of them are now like looking at these barn dominiums or getting off grid, living in tiny home, doing all that kind of stuff where they work for themselves instead of working for a company and building that company for 30 years, like, you know, my generation and older did forever. You work for yourself and you build your home. There's another really great video channel called Scotes or Scote Life, Skote, and they're in Newfoundland or something, up in Canada. And it's this guy, and he used to do like survival shows or whatever. And then he met this sweet girl, and they're redoing a home, and they work their ass off every day, but they're building something for themselves that they own.
Yeah.
And so that trend to go back to, and I think that's why the geese are popular once again. I think it's like the little chicks and people wanting to do, you know, a little bit of, and that happened World War II or I, where the Victory Gardens was that.
I know that sounds World War I.
It does sound World War I-ish. Anyway, whichever war, the Victory Gardens were really popular. So people changed their front yard instead of having grass that doesn't produce for you and is just prideful. They would make gardens in their front yards and then exchange vegetables and stuff with their neighbors. And I could see that kind of trend when you watched. In fact, there were some neighborhoods now that are being built where like they have a community garden. And that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm hopeful.
That's it. No, I'm hopeful too. That's what and you know, I listen to the kids. They have a lot of these kids are just so they just don't buy it. They don't buy it. They're like, everything is fake and gay. They say this is all fake and gay. They know it's fake and gay. They know that Ghislaine Maxwell's family wrote our textbooks for the past 20, 30 years. So I also notice a real disconnect in the kids with school, which I have to say, like, there's obviously a lot of room for education, but like specifically like the public school system is absolute trashola.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like honestly, the only reason that I'm even capable of anything that I'm capable of intellectually, because I didn't even graduate high school, is because I completed middle school overseas. My curriculum was already that it was way like, you know, my 7th and 8th grade curriculum, by the time I got to high school in South Florida, I was like, what is this?
We already did this.
Yeah. Like I was actually really stunned. And I completely lost interest in school and I fell into all this other stuff, you know, because it was Florida.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, so like other parts of the world, they have it right. They educate their kids. America does not want to educate its public school kids apparently at all. So I you know, the kids they don't care what's being told to them. They really have a genuine seekers. I notice it's like a seeker spirit, and it's in the kids that are like really, really young. I connect with people that are in like maybe 24, 25. Everybody right now between the age of like 26, 27, right up to like my age, 36, 37, it's really hit or miss. They're either raging, like radically brainwashed to either polarity.
Yeah.
It's the young kids that look at us like we're fucking crazy. Do you know what I mean?
All of our control mechanisms we've been raised with, and they don't compute. They're like, I don't follow. You're not in charge of me. That's not my system. That's not my world. Yeah.
It's so wholesome. It gives me so much hope. And I feel all I want to do is be in service to them and do everything that I can do to not encumber or hinder their trajectory at all, because that's what my boomer parents did to me. Do you know what I mean? Like everything that you could do wrong, they did wrong. God love them. God bless them. You know what I mean? Like
They try. Best intentions.
that's not really, but I forgive them. I really do. But it's so important that we nurture the young minds because this isn't going to end with us. You know, it's going to keep going and going. There's a huge lightning storm outside, by the way.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Nice.
All right. Well, we have to do this again. We're going to try to keep on schedule, everybody, about this time every Wednesday. So you can join Jenny and I for the tea, grab some tea, and join us.
Always lovely speaking with Miss Lisa here. I also wanted to let you guys know, I do these weekly shows over on my Patreon as well. And I'm going to post this to my Patreon, but I'd love to have Lisa do, like, I want you to do like a woo-woo episode that's like specifically for like my people. Obviously we can have it.
We can come on and do a woo-woo. That would be fun. I love all that.
I can kind of feel us gravitating, you
Do
know,
the
like the spiritual stuff. So I'm like, I would love.
Oh yeah, I'm
I'm
down.
going to do some cards too, so you have your own set.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Hopefully I can get to you soon and we can
The
that'd be
silence.
even better. Yeah.
Someone said, "What's the generation before?" Light Shadow said, "What generation was before?" I believe it was the silent generation
Before boomers?
before boomers.
Oh wow, how sad. I would hate to be those.
I think it was, right? I'm pretty sure they're called the silent generation.
I do not know.
Then there was the greatest generation.
Yes.
They're
That was
my
before.
yeah. That's before.
That's my grandfather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandparents. Yeah. All right. Well, there is a link to Jenny's Patreon in the description of this video. And there is also a link to reach me at litecoinlisa.net or join my Patreon. And you should do both.
Yeah. Why
It's a
not?
lot of fun. Do it.
We have a good time. Thank you, Lisa. I love you. Thank you,
Love you
everybody.
All right.
Next time.
Take care.